Hi guys, welcome back to Finesse. This time we've prepared a list of the top 11 best thriller movies currently streaming in July 2025 on Netflix, Prime Video, and Tubi. You'll find a mix of popular hits and hidden gems, so there's something fresh and exciting for everyone. We hope this collection helps you pick your next great watch. So let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Number 11, Heads of State. Directed by Ilya Naishuller, is a wild and high-energy action comedy that fuses political absurdity with relentless set pieces and buddy movie chaos. The film centers on a mismatched pair, one the President of the United States, the other a hardened special operative, thrown together on a classified mission after a terrorist threat forces them into hiding. When Air Force One is hijacked and world leaders are thrust into survival mode, their uneasy alliance turns into an explosive globe-trotting ride filled with double-crosses, shootouts, and sharp-edged banter. John Cena and Idris Elba lead the film with big-screen charisma and comedic timing, delivering a chemistry that balances brute force with deadpan wit. Cena leans into his physical comedy, while Elba plays it straight with dry sarcasm, making their dynamic the heart of the movie. They're supported by a colorful ensemble, including Priyanka Chopra Jonas and Paddy Considine, who add both flair and friction to the chaos. Visually slick and tonally outrageous, Heads of State doesn't aim for realism. It thrives on spectacle, high-speed pacing, and absurd political satire. While it dips into spy thriller territory, its focus remains on delivering laughs, explosions, and unlikely friendship under fire. Number 10, Blue Ridge, directed by Brent Christie, is a grounded and quietly tense crime thriller that merges small-town dynamics with simmering moral complexity. The film centers on Justin Wise, a former Green Beret-turned-sheriff who returns to his hometown to reconnect with his ex-wife and daughter. But quiet life is shattered when a high-profile murder rocks the community. As Justin digs in, he discovers long-buried grudges, shadowy alliances, and the thin line separating justice from vengeance. With each clue, the town's simmering tension rises, making every conversation feel like a potential powder keg. Jonathan Schaech anchors the film with a stoic and emotionally grounded performance, balancing past trauma and present duty. Sarah Lancaster enriches the narrative as his ex-wife, adding emotional depth to his return. The supporting cast, including Graham Greene, brings authenticity to the local characters, grounding the thriller in real-world stakes. For fans of gritty, atmospheric crime dramas where place matters as much as plot, Blue Ridge offers a moody, character-driven thriller that lingers well beyond its runtime. Number 9, Operation Hyasin, directed by Pyotr Domilevsky, is a cerebral and haunting crime thriller that fuses procedural tension with political and personal stakes. Set against the backdrop of 1980s communist Poland, Domilevsky and screenwriter Marcin Chastain bring a neo-noir atmosphere to a story that questions identity, power, and repression within an oppressive system. The film centers on Robert, a young militia officer drawn into Operation Hyasin, a secret police campaign to catalog gay men under the pretense of public health. But when a series of murders targeting that same community emerges, Robert goes undercover and discovers unsettling truths about the investigation and himself. Tomasz Szientek anchors the film with a subtly powerful performance. Bukowski's Arek is magnetic, a spirited, defiant presence whose chemistry with Robert adds sparks of tension and longing. Fans of character-driven thrillers will find Operation Hyasin quietly riveting, a political crime drama that lingers far beyond the final fade, asking what it truly means to live under the weight of fear, secrets, and forbidden desire. Number 8, 47 Meters Down. Directed by Johannes Roberts, is a lean and nerve-wracking survival thriller that trades traditional horror tropes for a slow-burning descent into psychological terror. The story follows Lisa and Kate, vacationing in Mexico and seeking adventure, who end up stranded 47 meters below the surface after a freak accident detaches their diving cage. With limited oxygen, no communication, and great white sharks circling the murky water, survival becomes a minute-by-minute struggle against both physical and mental collapse. Mandy Moore brings unexpected grit to Lisa, portraying a woman forced to shed her fears in real time. Claire Holt matches her as the more experienced sister, with both actresses grounding the film in human vulnerability. Their dynamic feels lived in and believable, which helps anchor the film's more extreme moments. While it may not break new ground narratively, 47 Meters Down distinguishes itself through atmosphere and restraint. It's less about action and more about endurance, what fear does to the mind, and how easily reality can slip when you're truly alone. Number 7. Tickled, directed by David Farrier and Dylan Reeve, is a bizarre and unsettling investigative thriller that fuses true crime documentary with psychological suspense and journalistic grit. Known for its sharp tonal shifts, the film begins with curiosity and humor, but quickly descends into something far more disturbing: a real-life conspiracy that challenges notions of power, consent, and online anonymity. The film centers on Farrier himself, a mild-mannered journalist from New Zealand, who stumbles upon an online world of competitive endurance tickling. Initially amused, he sets out to learn more, only to be met with unexpected hostility, legal threats, and a web of intimidation tactics that suggest a much darker force operating beneath the surface. What follows is a globe-spanning investigation that exposes a chilling abuse of power, hidden behind a fetish that seems harmless on the surface. Farrier anchors the film with dry wit and a calm persistence that makes the unfolding mystery even more gripping. His interactions with the film's shadowy subjects become increasingly tense and unpredictable, creating a slow-building narrative that feels closer to a psychological thriller than a traditional documentary. Co-director Dylan Reeve adds journalistic weight and sharp editing that helps keep the story focused and emotionally impactful. For fans of investigative thrillers and true crime with a surreal edge, Tickled is a fascinating and deeply disturbing watch, one that proves truth really can be stranger than fiction. Number 6. Salt, directed by Philip Noyce, is a sleek and high-octane espionage thriller that fuses political paranoia with relentless action. The film centers on Evelyn Salt, a highly respected CIA agent whose world is turned upside down when a defector accuses her of being a Russian sleeper spy. What begins as an interrogation spirals into a breakneck pursuit as Salt goes on the run to clear her name, or perhaps complete her mission. With every twist, the line between hero and traitor becomes increasingly blurred. Angelina Jolie drives the film with a commanding performance that blends physical ferocity with emotional restraint. As Salt, she's enigmatic and fiercely committed. Her action sequences are brutal and believable, while her character's motives remain tantalizingly opaque. Supporting turns from Liev Schreiber and Chiwetel Ejiofor add depth to a story built on trust, betrayal, and Cold War echoes. Visually, Salt is crisp and urgent, favoring tight urban settings and sharp choreography over overblown spectacle. It's a film that moves fast but invites close attention. Every clue matters, and every action sequence pushes the story forward. Fans of spy thrillers and cat-and-mouse tension will find Salt both satisfying and refreshingly ambiguous. Number 5. Cowboys and Aliens. Cowboys and Aliens, directed by Jon Favreau, is a bold and genre-blending sci-fi western that fuses frontier grit with alien invasion spectacle. Known for his blockbuster sensibilities, Iron Man, The Mandalorian, Favreau brings a rugged, straight-faced tone to a concept that could have easily veered into parody, delivering instead a sincere mashup of two very different cinematic worlds. The film centers on Jake Lonergan, a mysterious outlaw who wakes up in the Arizona desert with no memory and a strange metal device strapped to his wrist. When alien ships attack the local town, Jake teams up with a hardened colonel, a determined woman with secrets of her own, and a ragtag posse to confront the extraterrestrial threat. As the group ventures deeper into the wilderness, they uncover truths not just about the invaders but about themselves. Daniel Craig anchors the film with stoic intensity, embodying a classic Western anti-hero with a futuristic twist. Harrison Ford delivers a grizzled, no-nonsense performance as Colonel Dolarhyde, bringing weight to the old-school gunslinger role. Olivia Wilde adds intrigue and mystery, rounding out a cast that plays the premise with conviction. For fans of unconventional mashups, Cowboys and Aliens offers a refreshing and ambitious ride. It may not hit every mark, but its sheer genre fusion and strong performances make it a curious, entertaining standout in the world of blockbuster cinema. Number 4. White House Down. White House Down, directed by Roland Emmerich, is a high-energy action thriller that fuses political intrigue with over-the-top blockbuster spectacle. The film centers on John Cale, a Capitol police officer hoping to impress his daughter and land a job with the Secret Service. But during a routine White House tour, a heavily armed paramilitary group launches a surprise takeover. With the president in danger and the government thrown into chaos, Cale must rise to the occasion, facing impossible odds to protect both his country and his child. Channing Tatum leads with rugged charm and grounded physicality, perfectly suited for the reluctant hero role. Jamie Foxx brings charisma and surprising humor as President Sawyer, forming an unexpectedly entertaining dynamic with Tatum. Their chemistry gives the film a buddy action edge that balances its heavy-handed patriotism with levity. White House Down is pure summer spectacle. Big explosions, slow-motion escapes, and glossy production design. Emmerich embraces the absurdity of the premise, delivering a relentless pace that rarely pauses for breath. While it doesn't aim for realism or subtlety, it thrives on adrenaline, suspense, and pure cinematic fun. Number 3. Family Plot. Family Plot, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, is a playful and intricate mystery thriller that fuses crime, deception, and dark comedy into a stylish cinematic farewell. Known for his mastery of suspense, Hitchcock closes out his legendary career with a film that feels both mischievous and meticulously controlled, balancing danger with dry wit in a way only he could. The film centers on a fake psychic and her cab-driving boyfriend who get entangled in a missing air case that spirals into a criminal web far deeper than they expected. Meanwhile, a separate couple, polished, secretive, and far more dangerous, carry out kidnappings and blackmail schemes with chilling precision. As the two storylines twist toward each other, Hitchcock crafts a tension that's slow-burning, clever, and laced with irony. Barbara Harris brings breezy charm and comic timing to her role as the spirited medium, while Bruce Dern plays it with just enough edge as her skeptical, street-smart partner. Their chemistry is light and engaging, a contrast to the icy, calculated performances from William Devine and Karen Black, who play the criminal pair with eerie calm and simmering menace. For fans of vintage thrillers and Hitchcockian style, Family Plot is a sly, underrated gem. A smart, entertaining ride that proves even in his final film, the master of suspense never lost his touch. Number 2. The Grey. Directed by Joe Carnahan, is a stark and meditative survival thriller that fuses raw physical endurance with existential reflection. Known for his gritty, character-driven storytelling, Carnahan brings a hauntingly poetic lens to a tale of men versus nature, where the real battle lies within as much as without. The film centers on John Otway, a sharpshooter hired to protect oil workers from wolves in the Alaskan wilderness. When a plane crash strands him and a handful of survivors in the frozen north, they must face the brutal elements, the threat of a deadly wolf pack, and their own unraveling sense of hope. As each man is tested, the journey becomes less about escape and more about purpose, faith, and fear in the face of death. Liam Neeson delivers one of the most emotionally resonant performances of his career, balancing grim determination with quiet vulnerability. His portrayal of Otway, wounded, introspective, and fiercely protective, anchors the film with depth and soul. The supporting cast, including Frank Grillo and Dermot Mulroney, brings distinct personalities and emotional weight, making the group dynamic feel authentic and tragic. Bleak and immersive, The Grey leans into the desolation of its icy setting. The camera captures both the beauty and the brutality of nature, while the score, minimal and haunting, echoes the film's deeper philosophical undercurrent. Number 1. Dressed to Kill. Dressed to Kill, directed by Brian De Palma, is a provocative and stylish psychological thriller that fuses erotic tension with Hitchcockian suspense. Known for his visual bravado and thematic boldness, De Palma crafts a sensual yet sinister narrative that explores identity, obsession, and violence through a voyeuristic lens. The film centers on a mysterious murder in New York City and the three people drawn into its orbit: a sexually frustrated housewife, a high-class call girl who becomes a witness, and a teenage boy obsessed with uncovering the truth. As the story unfolds, layers of deception, danger, and desire peel back, exposing something far darker lurking beneath the surface. Angie Dickinson delivers a daring and memorable performance, while Nancy Allen commands the screen with a mix of vulnerability and resolve. Michael Caine, in one of his most enigmatic roles, brings icy detachment and quiet menace, adding a layer of psychological intrigue that simmers throughout. Their performances elevate a pulpy premise into something deeper and eerier. For fans of vintage thrillers with a sophisticated edge, Dressed to Kill is a haunting, hypnotic ride, both a love letter to classic suspense and a bold, controversial reimagining. It's visually rich, psychologically charged, and unmistakably De Palma.